Hi paper crafters, it's Heather from the Plymouth Library with a couple of card ideas for you just in time for Father's Day. So ready? Let's get started. So the first card we're going to make is this card for the griller in your life, and it's shaped like a little apron, okay? First thing you need is a piece of cardstock, just a simple half sheet cut to the short way, and we're going to fold that in half. Then what we want to do is take just a piece of junk paper to make a template so that you can have even armholes on each side. So once you've cut that template, you're going to line it up on your greeting card and cut out from both the front and the back these armholes on each side so that it's shaped like this. Once we have that cut, you're going to take a piece of contrast paper, whatever color you want your apron to be, and you're going to cut it with the same template that you use to cut the cardstock. Once you have that cut, we're going to half it. We're going to cut off a strip of the bottom because we're going to make the pocket for the card. So you might want to cut the contrast paper in a little bit skinnier than your cardstock, just so you have that nice contrast edge on it. So once you've got that all cut, you're going to glue it into place onto your cardstock. The next thing we're going to do is take an X-Acto knife or a scissors if you don't have an X-Acto, and we're going to cut a little slit in the cardstock so that it makes that pocket. So once you've got your two pieces of contrast paper, you'll know right where to make that little slit. We're going to cut the pocket. Don't cut all the way to the edge, of course, just keep a little ways away from the edge to make a pocket. The next thing we're going to do is the strap on the apron. What you need to do this is a little piece of ribbon. If you don't have ribbon at home, you can make that strap out of just a piece of paper. So you're going to glue it, or use brads to adhere it to the inside front. If you have brads, that's great. It makes a nice little button effect there. If you don't have brads, you can make that button effect by just cutting a couple pieces of cardstock, or you could glue a couple buttons there, or what have you. And the last thing we're going to do is to just take a strip of black cardstock or gray, whatever you have, and make some drilling tools to put into the pocket. And you're just going to open up that little slit and glue them to the bottom part of the inside of the card, and you've got a nice little grilling apron. Okay, so the next card we're going to do is this shirt and tie card, which is again very simple to do. What you'll need is again a piece of cardstock, half sheet size, cut the short way, and what we're going to do is we're going to cut on the back side of the card about 1 inch from the top. And we're going to go all the way to the center fold and then about 3/4 of an inch beyond. We're going to match up on the other side a cut about 3/4 of an inch from the edge on that same line. Okay? The next thing we're going to do is to cut off this, the back part of the card. I lost my scissors, so I'm just going to do that like that. So what you end up with a shorter back than the front. Now we're going to take these corners and we're going to fold them in to make the collar of the shirt, just like this. If you want, you can use a cardstock that has a white on the back if you'd like to achieve a white collared shirt. Otherwise, if you want the collar to be the same color as the shirt, you'll want to use a cardstock that is the same on the front and back. So once we have those collars folded in, we're going to cut the tie. You might want to cut yourself, again, a template out of just a piece of junk paper so that you can measure and have it just right. And we're going to glue that tie in underneath the edges of the collar. One thing that I noticed in doing this sample for you is that it's a nice idea to cut the knot of the tie and the tie itself from 2 different directions, so that when you put the knot onto the tie, you can tell that there's a knot there because the direction of the paper goes a different direction. So that's a nice little touch. So once you've glued the necktie into place, you can make buttons, like a buttoned Oxford if you like. If you have little tiny buttons at home to glue in place, that's terrific. If you don't have tiny buttons, you can cut those buttons out of just a piece of cardstock. And that's your shirt and tie card. So I hope you enjoyed these 2 Father's Day ideas, and I wish you happy paper crafting.